Again, that right hand. Let's look at that one again. Oos. All right. It has been a while since I've done a sparring reaction video. Those are some of my favorite videos to do, but Jake Paul has blessed us with the full sparring footage, so I'm not going to use any audio here. We're just going to watch some of it. I've watched a tiny bit of it in the highlights. Now, what I did do is I just watched Hasim's most recent fight with Morrison, because I wanted to get a gauge of how he actually fights when he has an actual fight, right? How does he move? What's his pace like? His defense, right? So I can compare it to now to see how close his sparring is to his fighting, right? And some other context here. This was 2.5 years ago, at least 2 years ago, for Jake. So we got to keep that in mind. I feel like as of recently, in the last couple of years, he's kind of built on his style. He's kind of been fighting the same based off his clips. You can't really tell that it was 2 years ago totally. I think he's just, better, faster, and stronger at what he does. But I guess we shall see. I mean, right off the bat, the fact that Jake is posting the full sparring, I don't know if it's, uncut. I doubt it's uncut. But I assume Jake is confident. It was a couple of years ago, so that's a big difference, right? 2.5 years is a very long time. Okay, so the banter's nice, right? They're not coming out super serious, trying to just get some good work in and help Jake get better. Jake, it looks like he immediately shrugs it off, like, "Come on, bro, I'm like locked in here, like I'm trying to get some actual work in." And Hasim kind of laughs it off. Now, right off the bat, it may seem like Hasim is moving quite slow, but this is how he moved. At least feet wise in the fight, right? Low hands, flat-footed stepping, right? You're gonna see that with bigger guys, heavier guys. That's not too uncommon. Jake's trying to shake it out. You can tell this is Jake's trying to find his confidence. Hasim's a big guy, so Jake is clearly worried about the power. Good movement there by Jake. One of the hardest things to develop in any fight sport is defense, right? Your ability to see punches coming and not just completely panic. But I like this little exchange here. Ducks under it and sees it, leans back out of the way. Quite smooth. Hasim again looks pretty comfortable here, landing a nice jab, a nice counter jab there. Again, you can see that Jake is a bit antsy, right? But it makes sense. You're fighting a bigger guy, has a lot of experience. Big gap here. Nice pull right hand there from Jake. Let's go back to that. Again, you can tell Hasim's not trying to, it's obvious to tell he's not trying to walk him down and just beat him up, right? He's going to allow Jake to do things. Right now, he kind of does that too in his fights. The fight that I just saw. But he's not, there's a difference, right? Tommy Morrison is an absolute tank, so it's hard to compare these two. Nice little pull, lead right hand, follows up with a nice jab, right? Hasim is relaxed, but Jake is catching him, right? He's catching him, even though Hasim isn't going full speed, but Jake is still catching him off guard. Nice jab there from Jake. Shot his head back. Again, Hasim doesn't know Jake, so he probably also, you can come in like don't know the expectation. What is Jake going to be like? What's the sparring going to be like? Maybe he expected him to be worse, right? And Jake's a little bit better. So, I got to wake up. I got to turn up a little bit. But so far, I'm not seeing like Jake's running, He's a smaller guy here. He's working his feints. He's finding his way inside at times. Solid from Jake here. One thing I did notice, it has seemed differently here in comparison to his fight, is that he was jabbing a lot. His punch count was a lot higher. I know it's fatigue, but nice counter hook there from Jake. But the punch count was higher from Hasim, of course. To me, a solid round from Jake. You can tell Hasim is not going full speed. Nothing too drastic, right? I see like Floyd Mayweather. If you look at, sometimes you look at Floyd's sparring, right? Floyd will be like, he looks like Hasim. Where if you look at some of his sparring matches, he's super relaxed. He's almost like flat-footed, just working his defense and having fun. But then when he's fighting, you see him like cat quick and super alert. Is the drastic difference. You're not seeing the same drastic difference here defensively and movement-wise, but definitely with the punch count and the power, you're not seeing from Hasim, for sure. Jake's doing a good job there. That was beautiful. Beautiful setup here. This is great. He does this. He tries to stall him out here because he has a hard time being first, right? When somebody's taller and bigger, and Hasim likes to lay back on his back foot and counterpunch. So if Jake just keeps lunging in, he's going to get caught, and that can't feel good. So he's kind of like touching, but then getting out of there right away. And he does this kind of like, okay, Hasim's not really pushing forward. So I'm just going to wait and be lazy. All right, he's coming in. Boom, he's coming in. Bang, bang. Beautiful job setting up that right hand. It's interesting. I see more defense here from Hasim than I did in his actual professional fight against Tommy Morrison. Mainly because he was willing to throw more punches there, trade and counter and throw big shots, body and head. Hasim was throwing power shots throughout the first couple rounds. All the way until the end, actually. And here you see him just being a lot more defensive. He's just allowing Jake to throw more instead of looking for opportunities to crack. I mean, the big accusation that Hasim had that Jake was running the whole time, but he's doing a good job of not just allowing Hasim to tee off on him, right? You don't want to just stand there and engage on the inside. I would think that if Jake's game plan would be stick and move for as long as possible, and when you see Hasim fading away, then try to put the pressure on. Great hook. Jake was noticed it, covered, and got underneath that, which was nice. Nice combination there from Jake. But you can see Hasim just allowing him to do it, right? This is the stuff that you talk about when you can tell that the sparring is not like two guys clearly at the same level and both just trying to outwork each other. This is clearly Hasim being brought in to work with Jake. Again, but this is Jake a couple years ago. And I will say he's sparring perfectly. He's sparring very smart, right? He's trying to be intelligent here, find the right spots. Again, stick and move and not be there to get hit by heavy shots. So the stuff I'm seeing from Jake is really good here. And the thing you don't see too from Hasim is like you're not pressuring him. Like he's allowing Jake just to throw his punches and just jump out of there and not have to deal with them. And he's kind of letting Jake dictate the pace of the match. I guess we'll see if it changes now. See right here, like Hasim has not thrown any punches here for a couple of seconds. He's kind of letting Jake, there's another jab. But he's kind of letting Jake do his thing. Just kind of waiting, right? No counter punches. Which is because you didn't see any of this in this fight. In the fight, his hands were down, but he was ready to punch. He was trying to trade or slip and counter punch at the same time. You didn't see a lot of defense or allowing Morrison just to throw punches without any return. Nice jab there by Jake. That his team's coach, I think, in the red shorts. I'm trying to look at his demeanor because that would mean a lot too. If your coach is on you, telling you, come on, right? If he's yelling at you or doesn't look happy, then you can kind of tell by your performance. Another jab. You see his head snap back there. I will say that he seemed to look quite available in the boxing match. Like his standing here like this is quite normal. It's a part of his style because he's a heavy puncher and he's a good counter puncher. But here, just falling asleep, I think just thinking Jake is not much competition, but Jake does a good job of countering the jab. I didn't notice that at first. But Hasim tries to pop out a jab, and Jake's waiting for it. Hands come up. Boom. Beautiful counter. Head snap back. See, things like that, even though you're not going full power, I got to give props to Jake. Because reason is this is just a timing thing and a decision-making thing, right? This boils down to IQ here. Like, I'm waiting for you to jab. Hasim is like, oh, I'm going to jab. I'm going to be good. Throws a lazy jab. Isn't ready for the return. And Jake just has better timing there and makes a better decision. Not saying that he's a better boxer or has more IQ, but in that moment, right, you give props to Jake, and those are things that you want to see from Jake. But let's see if Hasim turns up at all. Because clearly this is the one that gets heated, so I want to see. Picking the right shots. Good right hand there. Like, this was a clip that was used by Hasim to say, like, Jake was running the whole time. But if you look at this exchange, right? Jake lands that to set up the right hand. Good change of pace. Lands the right hand. Slips out of the way of the hook. And then obviously knows, I think he knows too, you land a hard punch, someone's going to return hard. and gets caught, recentering himself back to the ring. I don't blame him for doing that. It seems not he's a powerful guy. I don't expect Jake to be trading with him. All right, so now this should get juicy. 2 strong jabs, stomping on the ground. The jabs coming out. This is what you saw more of him fighting, his style. Lots of jabs, pawing out there, leaving that hand out there. Another jab there. We're already at like 5 jabs now. I think, is Hasim slipping or something? I don't know if he was doing that. Ooh, that was a hard jab there. You can see already now the difference. Hasim's putting a little bit more on that. Nice counter right hand there from Jake. Good jab there from Jake. Oh, beautiful right hand. That was the one that we saw too in a clip. Nice right hand. I think even Jake, it seems like Jake's kind of frustrated with the lack of pressure from Hasim. Like, come on, man. Like, let's get some work in. I want to get better type of thing. That's what it seems like. At least the body language that I'm getting from Jake. Another right hand. Same thing. Touch the body, right hand. Hasim has been late on it. They're kind of going at this certain pace, and then Jake does a good job of just sneaking it in there. Again, that right hand. Let's look at that one again. On the button. Boom. Beautiful timing. As soon as he touched that front hand, he popped that right hand right behind. This is the part that Hasim's probably not going to like, right? Because, I don't know what was said at this point, but it clearly seems like he's not happy because Jake's talking like he won. See, now, we didn't see this Hasim sparring, right? I would have loved if they just said, you know what, let's just give us 3 more rounds. Because then we would have saw, like, Hasim that's wanted to fight and wanted to try to hurt Jake. Okay, so my main takeaway is Hasim was brought in as the more experienced guy. Was very respectful in his approach, right? Didn't try to take advantage of Jake. And I think he underestimated Jake. Jake did better than he thought he would. And Jake was able to do more than Hasim probably liked. And probably didn't expect Jake to talk smack, and I think he thought Jake would just understand the situation and be respectful about the spar and let him get his work in. Obviously, Jake's not going to do that. But, man, so after seeing that, how do I think the fight would have gone? I do like what I saw from Jake. Again, I would assume 2 years additional of work and improvement, but we would have saw a completely different Hasim, especially we would have saw Hasim with the same energy that you saw at the end, right? And in that, I don't know what round it was, but the last round when he came out with the jabs, shooting the jabs harder, right? That's what we'd have seen from the beginning. Not letting Jake just do anything, not just covering up and shelling, but throwing hard counter punches. And I still think it would have been very tough for Jake to come out victorious because he wouldn't have the same opportunity to tee off the way he did. I think he would have landed some shots, right? I don't think it would have been so one-sided. I think Jake is tricky enough and awkward enough to land when he needs to land, but I'm not sure it's going to have the same effect that it has like on Tyron Woodley than it would on Hasim. Hasim's a bigger guy naturally, experienced boxer. It's going to be hard to put away a guy like that. Even if you saw the fight Tommy Morrison, who has multiple knockouts, who's 6'4", it took a lot of power punches to put Hasim down, right? So, and then when it was called off, he was still standing, right? So it would be very tough. It's not like I don't see Jake just landing that one punch and KOing him. So he'd have to do that multiple times and switch it up because now Hasim, since he's fighting, he's not just going to let Jake do that. And Jake kind of landed the same thing, right? It wasn't a lot of different things that Jake was able to do. It was kind of the same thing on repeat, and Hasim just let it happen. So if knowing that based off the spar, right, I think Hasim kind of knows, okay, this is what I expect from Jake. But I'm not sure if Jake would be ready for Hasim at 100%, right? That would be probably the biggest difference. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Interesting. Full fight, full sparring footage from an influencer. That is rare. Very rare. But I love it. Leave a like and subscribe. Oos.